Hi everyone, and in this week's Weekly Scoop, I catch you up with some of the highlights we've posted across our platforms during the week. The big news for pension funds this week was the Mercer CFA Global Pensions Index, which was released by those two organizations and published in the middle of the week. I've popped that report onto the publications podium of EBNet for you to go and check it out. But I think overall, South Africa increased slightly in terms of the scoring system. And like my children at university would say, from a 49 to a 51 is not slight. It's actually quite dramatic in terms of end result, but really leaving us graded as a C. So I think when it comes to where we are with our pensions industry, look, we all know this, the frameworks around what we do, the compliance and governance structures around us are good, and there are some things that are lagging. I think what was interesting for me coming out of the Mercer CFA index this year was the notion that governments are starting to, or not starting to, but are starting to tap into the assets of retirement funds. They're realizing that there is a substantial amount of money sitting in these funds, not only in South Africa, but really around the world. And they're starting to think about how to flex those assets in support of government and national priorities. So that is a conversation that has not started in the Global Pensions Index, but certainly has had a lot of airtime this week, and certainly in the 2025 index. So go and check that out on our publications podium at www.ebnet.co.za. Moving on to markets then, one of the interesting things, and linking back to this kind of responsible investing or national imperative kind of conversation, is an article I published on our website earlier in the week by Standard Bank around proxy voting and what the new technologies in the environment allow us to do when it comes to exerting influence or expressing our views on what management within organizations and listed companies are doing. So proxy voting, what technology allows in terms of transparency, in terms of speed of information, it's a very, very good article from Standard Bank. I encourage you to go look at that. Another interesting development or unfolding conversation is around SMMEs and the, let's say, the value and the job creation that they bring to South Africa as a country. Now, we all know SMMEs are a huge part of our economy and certainly a huge part of the solution, going back to kind of government imperatives and the things that government is wanting to get right. And there is a great article from Zwa Shoniwa at Sanlam talking about the imperatives for the people being employed by these organizations or these small to medium-sized enterprises, the imperative to be providing them with retirement and other benefits. Now, this is interesting. I certainly can't imagine a world where a small to medium-sized enterprise or business would be looking at a privately administered standalone fund. And so it lends to the conversation around umbrella funds, but certainly in my mind, more to a conversation around disruptive technology. Even umbrella funds for a company of, say, 5 to 10 employees, even the umbrella fund will not be, in my opinion, a cost-effective way or solution for those employees. But we all know that group savings and group investments come with very attractive economies of scale. And so there is this opportunity really begging for some sort of fintech disruption, some sort of platform to get benefits and investments into these employees' hands. Another news headline this week was the FSCA levying an administrative penalty on another financial services provider. Now, these are coming thick and fast, it feels like, in 2025. This one was for non-compliance, again, with the FIC Act. And the FSCA really taking their supervisory role seriously when it comes to anti-money laundering and the financing of terrorism. Now, this has something to do with, or a lot to do with, the Financial Action Task Force's grey listing. We are waiting, as I record this, we are waiting for a decision coming out of that plenary session being held in Paris this week. So we are waiting for a decision on that. All indications are that we should be removed from the grey list. And the reason for that is this kind of super compliance angle of our conduct authorities.
Hi, pals. Greetings from Sammy. EBNet is proud to bring you top quality content from experts across the financial services industry in South Africa and internationally for free. Your support helps us in doing this. All we ask is that you subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Share this video with others you think will benefit from it. And give us a thumbs up if you are enjoying the content. That way you help us help you. Thank you from the team at EBNet. For more great content, please visit www.ebnet.co.za. Ciao, ciao, and bye-bye.
That's the good side. The bad side, though, is we understand at EBNet, we talk to a lot of you in the community, and we understand the pressures of trying to keep up with this type of legislation and compliance adherence. So it's not only ticking all the boxes and making sure you have all the policies and the verification of identities of clients, etc. It's also trying to keep up with the new regulations and the new rules as they land. And so we've decided as a team during the week to launch a podcast series early next year around the compliance requirements for businesses, really to surface some of the conversations and some of the important things that you as a business owner or business manager needs to be thinking about when it comes to compliance as an FSP. So we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to those conversations. Compliance is something that I really do enjoy, and surfacing the issues I think would be very useful and very, very beneficial to those of you out there. Looping back to the umbrella discussion on EBNet Stream this week, I posted an interview I did with Monique Klutter from Old Mutual around the roles and responsibilities of management committees. Now, as we evolve as an industry from standalone funds into umbrella funds and possibly something thereafter, this role of this management committee is not to be taken lightly. Having the conversation with Monique was illuminating. She certainly brought some things to my attention that I hadn't even thought of, and interesting to see this kind of reciprocal influence or this reciprocal relationship that will start emerging between commercial umbrella funds boards of trustees and the management committees of the sub funds that participate in those structures. And if you think you sitting there as a management committee today listening to me, if you sit there thinking that you exert no influence or have no say, not entirely true. It is worth going to listen to that interview to really see what the scope is of your voice and the kind of decisions that you are able to influence upwards in this structure. Certainly your role and your responsibility of whistleblowing is not gone, and certainly your role and responsibility of looking after your employees in your sub-fund is not gone. And so you do have some level, I'm not going to say liability just yet, but certainly with Kofi in the wings, you certainly do have a large degree of responsibility that I think a lot of people are unaware of. Also on EBNet Stream this week, we posted our exec meet and greet, this time with Lelani Besaignout, who's the CEO of the Financial Planning Institute. And for those of you who don't know, many people confuse or think that the FPI is only for individual financial advisors. In fact, there are group employee benefits or employee benefit consultants who also hold this designation. And together, Lelani and I explore the importance and the prevalence of of this professional designation in raising the standards of advice in our country. And there's a number of, points that we make and kind of avenues that we explore. But the one I want to touch on is the implication of AI for the financial advisor, and what are the skills that the financial advisor of tomorrow needs to have. And that's a great conversation. And I think that applies equally whether you're an individual financial advisor or a group or employee benefits financial advisor. The ability to connect, to persuade, to influence people, to make the right decisions is certainly where the game is at. And AI doesn't do that. And using AI in the wrong way certainly will make you start 100 meters behind your competitors. So it's an interesting conversation to look at where consulting in general is going, and the types of programs that the FPI is looking at putting into place. I think as we look forward into next week, I am excited to sit and listen to the debate unfolding on a Monday morning in our EBNet In the Moment live webinar, where the conversation of private markets will be unpacked, and will be unpacked from a number of angles, and a number of, let's call them, role players in our industry, from three points of view, really. One being from the service provider or the product provider's point of view, one being from the asset consultant or the advisory point of view, and the other being from a trustee point of view. And really uncovering the importance of this, let's call it an asset class, the importance of this asset class, the importance of this imperative, going right back to the CFA Mercer Global Pensions Index, talking about using assets of pension funds for good. And so there is a circular conversation. There are things that are being talked about, and how the assets of pension funds and provident funds can be used to fund the good of society. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to take anything away from Monday's session. There are still seats available to the online webinar. You're welcome to go to www.ebnet.co.za and register. It is for free. We run all of our content for free on EBNet for the community to access, collaborate, and grow. The week after that, I will be hanging out at a couple of conferences, which I'm really looking forward to. One of those is the FPI, the other is the Actuarial Society, and I will be tweeting from those conferences. So if you are not yet following me on Twitter, I think it's called X now, I'm showing my age, go onto our website. You can find my the link there, and as I'm sitting through those sessions on your behalf, I will be sending you live updates. And at the end of every day at those conferences, I'll be sending my summaries of the highlights and publishing that on our website. That's it in a nutshell for this week, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I think I'm starting to get that Christmas fever. So is it holiday? Are we there yet? Is it holiday time?